Time to devour the full charge power hour.
3, 2.
The door closed right when we were clapping. Welcome to the Full Charge Power Hour / Your Ex Drinking Bunny / The Power of Hal. I am a sleepy Matt Fulcheron here in Astoria, Queens, with Brennan Tasseff.
What's up, dude?
It's been a long trip.
Yeah.
When you last checked in with us, it was the day before the tour. And I was staying at the pod. Those were the days, man. It seems like 8 years ago.
It is funny because before we went on tour, because we were going to meet up Sunday to get food, and then we're going back out this Sunday. And so it's bizarre to be like, oh, yeah, that was a week ago. It feels like it was like 6 months ago.
Especially if you're me, because I've been all over. First of all, well, it's so funny. My boy Louis Katz hit me up at, this is New York shit. This doesn't happen anywhere else. I still had his wife's keys, because I was going to stay at his apartment. If you didn't listen to last episode, listen to last episode. And he hit me up at midnight, like, hey, let me swing by and get them keys. And I'm like, it's one of those things, man. It's like, do you text back? But he was doing me a favor in the first place. Yeah. So you feel like you got to do the favor. So I'm like, yeah, come by, but it's got to be in the next half hour.
Because I'm going to bed.
I took my medicine, my sleepy medicine. Because we were about to go on tour. We were about to get up. I needed my sleep. It was the whole point of getting the Pod Hotel.
Yep.
It wasn't for the glamour. And all I get is goddamn spam all day long.
Yeah, me too.
So then, like, I text him, you got to come by in the next half hour, which didn't seem likely to me. And then just 10 minutes goes by. It was like, all right, that half hour is diminishing quickly, and I'm getting sleepier and sleepier. And I just hit him up. I'm like, seriously, though, like the next 10 minutes or
I'm out.
Come on. I'll mail. I started with like all the plan Bs. I'll mail them to you. Then I felt guilty. All right, I'll drop them off before I meet in the story, which is a huge pain because it just adds a half an hour to or like $20.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you decide to take a car, it's like, all right, cool. This is money I wasn't expecting.
And you always bullshit yourself the night before, too. You'll be like, oh, I'll get up. I'll get on the train.
Nope.
I'll get there. There's no train. You've got luggage.
Yep.
This is what fucked me, is I was going to go out. I'm good about getting myself coffee. I know my addictions, and I know that I need coffee in the morning, and I don't want to mess with it. But as I'm walking out that night to get some coffee, because I live in a neighborhood filled with coffee, I could easily go get a coffee. And I see a sign that says free coffee and tea, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm like, perfect. I'll just get it in the morning. I get up, I go upstairs, and there's like 7, 8 people in a line because the Pod Hotel very cutely uses Keurig coffee machines.
Yep.
Because there's a pod involved, I guess.
Yep.
Which means everybody's got to brew an individual cup of coffee, and no one knows how to work a Keurig. Not even Dave Keurig, dude. That shit is such bullshit. You got to open it up and close it 8 times, press the button 8 times. It works when it wants to work.
That is a weird thing about it is, like, I think I know how to use one, and then when we go to visit Tracy's grandma, she has, like, an older one, and it never, and I'm like, I'm not, like, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not dumb. And they're like, oh, there's a trick to it. And I go, there shouldn't be a trick to it.
The trick is on the 8th time it works.
Yeah.
You know, and it never works in high-pressure situations.
No, now when you get a line and you're like, all right, I got to go, let's go.
It's the dumbest machine because I have, like, a 4-cup brew at home. Like, why 1 cup?
That's what I was thinking about this when Keurig first came out because I was like, I don't know anybody. I'm not even a coffee drinker, but I'll always drink more than just a single cup if I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah,
because it's like booze to me. It's like why would I want to get as much caffeine as possible. That's why I'm doing this.
And didn't you say that Keurig the guy that invented it doesn't even like it?
No,
were you saying that? Maybe there was Lance.
It might have been Lance. That sounds like a Lance thing to say.
Yeah. So then we got in the Lance Mobile, the Prius.
A Prius.
Which Lance is very proud to own this Prius.
Yeah, he is.
And he does that thing like in the 80s where other dudes driving Corvettes would see each other and they're like, yo. That's like Prius pride.
Every time we saw one. And he knew, I don't even know if he was bullshitting us because neither of us were like going to make the effort to check it. But he's like, that looks like a 2022 SE model. SE. So not the full hybrid, but SE.
Yeah.
And we're just like, yeah, man.
Because it seems like from, I don't know, the early 2000s, or like maybe the late 90s, whenever Curvy Enthusiasm hits the airwaves, until the pandemic, let's say, Prius was just the same.
Yeah. And it always looked the same.
But now Lance has like a rocket, an electric rocket ship.
It looks like a spaceship.
It looks sexy.
It is cool as shit.
You know, and it drives fast.
Yeah. Keeps flipping into sport mode. I'm gonna flip it into sport mode, guys. We're like, all right, cool, dude. Lance was funny as hell.
And so we drop you off. You go to chill with your girlfriend.
The in-laws, yeah.
And the in-laws. And so I don't even know what happens to you then. Are you just engulfed in the world of take me through this, because you're about to do the show of a lifetime.
Yeah.
This is going to be harder than taping something on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, because so we're doing a show in Cambridge, as the listeners know, and the whole thing was Tracy is from Sudbury, like it's a suburb outside of Boston. And so she's like, oh, Cambridge is 20, 30 minutes away. I'll invite some friends, which turns into now her parents are coming. And her parents invited a lot of friends. And for people listening, I know you and I have talked about this, but when you're a comedian, there is that sense of like, I hope my in-laws like what I do, but most importantly, I hope they respect what I do as an actual job.
Right.
Because doing this as a hobby is hard as shit. So you want them to know it's your job. Like, this is what I do. Like, you're not coming to a talent show where I'm like, oh, hey, I do impressions and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, this has to go well. So you dropped me off, which was awesome.
Let me just stop and tell the audience, anytime a performance has to go well, it's almost counterintuitive to it going well. Because in order for a show to go well, a performance to go well, if you're an athlete, you have to be aware of the goal, but you have to like let go and get loose.
You got to be smooth.
And be in the moment.
It's the same thing with this.
And almost think goal-free.
Yeah.
You have to think goal-free.
Just, I'm going to go up there and have a good time. We'll see what happens.
Once you put a goal on it, or even not have a good time, like, I'm going to take this show wherever it takes me. I'm going to ride this wave. And then once it has to go well, it ruins the spirit of performance.
Because there's so much added. And you and I have talked about this before, I think, when you came on my show. There was a thing, like the best show I've ever had in New York was a last minute, hey, I got cut from work. Do you have any spots on the show? And my buddy was like, yeah, jump on the show. And I destroyed. Every time I've had a show at the Stand or the Cellar where I'm like, boy, oh boy, I'm going to do so well that Estee's going to run in and be like, who's crushing down here? It's gone. The worst is like it's gone okay,
right? Which
isn't good for that situation. So you're absolutely right. So it was definitely, and I thought you guys were kind enough to drop me off because like the kind of the way it worked is it was out of the way to drop me off directly at their house, but it was kind of out of the way for them to come pick me up. So we kind of just stopped on the highway.
Yeah.
We got some coffee at Dunkin', and then you guys took off, and then they came and picked me up. And
second stop at Dunkin', by the way.
Yeah.
There's two Dunkin' stops.
There's one Northeast is just Dunkin'.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, show's not till 8. I was going to get to they're going to dinner at 6, right? Like literally, it was across the street from the show. So I was like, I'll get to the house at 4. Do my pre-show ritual, which we talked about before on Lance's podcast, which will come out in 9 months. But it's like I'll take my nap. I'll go over my set list. Like I'll chill. I'll relax. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know what was going through my head where I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just get to my in-laws' house and chill.
Yeah.
Because, you get there and immediately it's like, how's everything going? What's up with you? What's going on? Which is great. I love spending time with the family.
We're going to heckle you.
And then they were like, we're so excited. We've invited 6 different couples. So we have like 12 people coming, 13 if this other guy shows up, just a friend of ours. Tracy's like, I invited 4 of my friends. And I was
Don't you love the concept of this? Like, let's invite all our friends to see our son-in-law act like an asshole at a bar.
And also, like, this could go not well.
Yeah. The whole point and the whole thrill of it is it might not go well.
Exactly. So I'm taking the pressure off immediately, setting low expectations. I'm like, oh, you guys are inviting all these people. I'm probably going to just bomb. Like, no big deal. I've bombed before.
Yeah.
What? And she, my mother-in-law, don't say that. You're going to do great. It's going to be great. So
The other thing, I'm sorry, but
No, go
the
ahead.
other thing that people do is they go, "We'll laugh,
Yeah.
we'll laugh," but if it's not going well, they get more nervous than you do.
Yep.
And they get like really tight.
super quiet.
Yeah.
So then there's obviously no time to rest. They have a friend that comes over that they're going to go to the dinner with, which I was unaware of. So now there's a third person in the house, which I now obviously kicks in. Like, she's coming to my show. I have to be cordial. I have to be nice.
Right.
So there's no time to rest. So then we get in the car. We're driving into Cambridge where the show is at. And Tracy knows me, and she knows my pre-show ritual and everything. So her mom's like, "Brennan, are you going to come to dinner with us?" And Tracy obviously knows me well enough to be like, "Oh, no, he's got..."
Good.
Because it puts me in an awkward spot to say no, because then
Yeah.
I feel like a dickhead.
Right.
So, like, was I a dick? But Tracy took the bullet for me.
Good.
She goes, "No, Brennan's got stuff he does before shows.
Yeah.
He's not going to be there."
Right.
And so we get there. We all get out of the car, and literally where they're eating dinner is across from the place.
Okay.
So I was like, "All right, cool. I'll see you guys later." And then I just walk. And we're in Cambridge. It's right next to Harvard. So I can't help but do that. So I'm just walking around Harvard. I'm looking around. It's super cool. I'm into history. I'm like reading all the plaques and stuff. And then I sit down, I do my set list. And then I go to the club to meet you guys.
Yeah.
And immediately stop by the door guy because he's barking.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm actually on the show." And then I get trapped
Talking?
in a 10-minute conversation
Really?
about New York comedy. Yeah, before you guys got there.
Okay.
Because I just walked by the venue to see it, like to see where it was and get my bearings. Because you guys aren't going to be there for like another 20 minutes. And I was
Right.
like, maybe I'll grab, I normally don't eat before shows, but we hadn't eaten really all day.
Sometimes you got to eat.
So I was like, maybe I'll just grab something small. So I walk by the venue, the guy stops me, and I go, "No, I'm actually on the show." And then 10-minute conversation I cannot get out of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "All right, cool, man. Well, I just wanted to stop by and say it." Finally,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to go grab something to eat. I'll
Yeah.
be back. And then you guys text me, and you're like, "Hey, we're here." So I finish up eating, and then I run and meet you. And that kind of catches everybody up to what
Right.
I was doing in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
Because you guys were like relaxing, checking in. I mean, I assume, I don't know.
Well, it's never
never a relax,
You never
yeah.
have really a second when you have a show, because there's always something you could be doing to get ready.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, you're leaving early to go to the show.
Because you and I are similar in that way, where it's like, I'd rather be early than late.
Yeah, I don't like the
I
showing
hate,
up
yeah.
last minute and the stress of that. And also, I was like, "What about parking?" And the guy's like, "Oh, it's just a garage." Down
Cool.
the street. And it's like, all right, so there's just that alone is enough to overwhelm me. Parking garage? So we walk in and you're talking to this doorman.
Yeah.
And our buddy
I got
Lance.
stopped again.
Our buddy Lance just goes, he says to the doorman, he goes, "I heard you're the worst comic in Boston." I just look at him and I'm like, "Lance, what are you doing?"
I assume maybe Lance, because Lance drives all over the country, over up and down the East Coast to do comedy. So I was like, "Oh, Lance is probably buddies with this guy."
Right.
So that's my first thought.
Not
Your
me.
first thought was,
my
what
first thought
are
is
you
Lance is
doing?
Lancing. And the dude looked pissed.
Yep.
And I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry about that." He goes, "You apologizing only makes it worse." He said something like that. Because then he's like, "Because then I think he actually means it." You know what I mean? It's like, we don't know you, dude. We don't know you.
And then Lance was like, "No, I have no idea who that guy is." And then immediately I go, what are you doing? He's like, "I'm breaking balls, I'm having fun."
Why? These are our allies.
You just got here.
That's the guy that's supposed to kick people out if people are heckling us. And now he doesn't like us. Anyway, we straightened it out, I think.
Yeah.
And
We straightened it out.
then you had a really good set.
Yeah, so Lance goes up first, and it was, Lance is Lancing. He's hosting. He's doing a good job. And then I'm freaking out kind of in the green room. Obviously, I'm not going to show it. I'm being very stoic, just looking over my notes.
By the way, you can freak out in front of me. I don't care.
No, and I know that. But inside, it's like when I used to play sports. It's like, don't let anyone see you sweat.
Right,
but
right.
inside, I'm like, if this doesn't go well, I now am not a comedian in my family's eyes anymore, in Tracy's family's eyes.
Yeah.
I'm a guy who waits tables, who likes to do comedy.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is a defining moment.
Right.
As dumb as it might sound to people listening, it's like, no, you only get one shot at a first impression with this kind of stuff. And I've talked about it before with you, when I've done shows in front of my family, my like a nuclear family, and sometimes it goes really well, and they go, "Wow, you're really good at this." And then other times, like I have the bit that I used to do on stage where my dad is like, "You have great stage presence. Now you just need to find someone to write you some jokes."
Yeah.
And it's like it can also go very poorly.
Yeah.
So Lance is doing his thing on stage, and I'm like, I don't hear. It's like I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
And then I come out of the green room, probably like a minute into it, and you're standing in the back of the room. And then you and I start laughing at what Lance is doing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, yeah, it's just another show. This is fine.
And if I can power of how it a little bit, it's not the end of the world for your in-laws to think you're a waiter that does comedy.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
No,
It's just what you don't want.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Want that recognition.
Yeah.
Because you know how much you're putting into it.
Yeah, and to your point.
And you want to continue.
Yeah, that's to your point. It's like, okay, well, if they see me and it doesn't go well, it's like, well, I'm not gonna hang up my microphone because that didn't. You know what I mean?
It just sucks for Thanksgiving from now on.
Yeah, you made that point. You're like, if that didn't, because it went well, and you were like, if that did go well, Thanksgivings are just gonna be awkward from here on out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went up, and the first thing I did, because her dad told me, he was like, don't mess with any of us. Like, ha, ha, ha. He was like, but mess with this guy. And Lance was kind of crowd working one particular guy, which was the guy he told me to mess with.
Yeah.
So immediately I went up and just honed in on him.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, ha, ha, ha. And I was like, oh, we're fine. It did the first bit.
Yeah.
It hit. And I was like, oh, we're good.
Isn't that a moment where you get like, it's almost like the same feeling as like, oh, I got enough to make rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I got enough laughs.
We're fine.
To like get through, like at the 15-minute mark, like I already got enough.
Yeah,
I just need to close strong, and I'm good.
And I talk about it all the time with stand-up. It's a lot like when I played football, and I was telling you this in the green room, where it's like I'm always nervous before shows. Doesn't matter what show. I always get a little nervous. And it was just like when I played. After that first hit, you're like, okay, like I've done this before. I do this all the time. And very parallel to football, there are some times where I'd get into a game and I'd go to block someone and he would just kick my ass and I go, oh, this is going to suck.
Right.
The next 4 quarters is going to suck. And that happens sometimes with comedy.
Sure.
Where you go up and I've gone up and the first joke doesn't land, second joke doesn't land, and I go, oh, this is going to be a long night.
Yeah.
But this time it was different. It was like, oh, I own this room. Like, this is fine. And I did well. I don't want to say I crushed because it was a lot of not laugh out loud people there. And Tracy because Tracy's not a laugh out loud person. So she's one of these people who will like smile, nod in agreement. And then when you get off stage, be like, that was really funny.
Yeah, right.
I could have used a little laughter. And so a lot of like their friends and family were like that. But I was getting, like you said, I was getting enough laughs to where I was like, oh, we're good. We're fine.
Yeah.
And I got off stage. You went up. You crushed. Because everyone could not stop talking about it.
Oh,
afterward.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I think I had mentioned that her family was like excited about it. But for the next like 3 or 4 days, I'm getting texts from Tracy being like, my parents just got another text how much everybody loved the show and how well Matt did and how well you did.
That's great, man.
All that kind of stuff. So
isn't that so great? Because that's all we want.
Yeah.
People treat us like we're trying to get away with something.
Yep.
All we want is to like make everybody happy.
I just want to make you laugh. What do you not understand about this?
A lot of people are like, how dare you?
Yeah. Who do you think you are? Being the center of attention.
And I was thrilled because I got a tape that I can use for reference for my special.
It was great.
Yeah, so I'm super happy about that. Actually did the chore of getting it downloaded onto my computer.
Yeah, okay, good.
Which is fucking impossible. I need a bigger computer or something.
Did they send? We'll talk about this off mic.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. And then then you had the rest of the night to just like field questions.
Cloud Nine, man, it was great.
Like Sports Center.
Yeah. Press conference after. So, Brennan, when you went into the bit about, tell us what you were thinking there. Well, we just play to win. We just come in here, we try to win. We had a great opponent. Nothing against them. We just
at the end of the day, the team that gets the most laughs in the end zone is the team that's bringing home the trophy. So
nothing against them. They played their hearts out, but we're just a better team today.
We're just thinking about Hartford.
Just moving on to Hartford. God, that should have been my mentality. Walking into that
yeah. So you had a whole, like right now I'm doing something where it's a work week mixed with a vacation. You had a whole in-laws mixed with a tour.
Yeah.
Which is wild and so much energy. is devoted.
Which
to
I
that.
didn't, because you obviously know the road much better than I do. I didn't think about it.
We had a tough. It was only 2 cities, but like a tour is tough.
Yeah, especially being on the road. You don't know where you're going to eat. You don't know the landscape. You don't know the people, and you don't know the crowds.
Yeah.
Like in New York,
but you also don't know where you're going. You don't know this address. You don't know how long it takes to get there.
You're showing up to a gig like, this is where it is.
You're
like,
checking out of a hotel every day.
Yeah,
you know.
And it was because you made the comment. You were like, that's a lot to like be, and I was like, it'll be fine. And then literally that night after the show, I felt some sort of way because I'm used to going out with you. Like we've done shows together, and I'm used to like, okay, we do the show afterwards. We all go get something to eat. We kind of have almost a debrief, like where we're talking about this went well, this didn't go well. Sometimes you never give unsolicited advice, but sometimes I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? And you're always willing to help.
Yeah.
But this time it was like, okay, the show's done. Now it's like, well, I have to go back to my in-laws
and be on.
And
be polite. Yeah, watch your P's and Q's.
And it was one of those things where I really wanted, because they took 2 separate cars because Tracy's dad wanted to play golf before the show. And so there was a big part of me that wanted to be like, hey, you guys go home and I'll just take the car.
Yeah.
But I was like, I am in no position to make that request.
Sure.
So I was just like, and they were like, oh, do you want to get food? Because I'm starving. Like I had one small burger at that burger shack before the show. That's all I had eaten all day.
We were all like malnourished.
Yeah, and
at
so
that show.
I thought we were going to go get those burritos, which you guys ended up doing.
Yeah.
But I had to I had to be like, okay, and I can read a room, obviously, between waiting tables and doing comedy. So I was just like, I could tell her dad he normally doesn't stay out late. He's like one of these get up at 5:30 a.m. kind of guys. So he's like, oh, if you guys want to go get food, I'll just kind of sit in the back and wait. And I was like, no, we'll grab a slice and then we'll just go home. So that was...
Did you go to Joe's?
Yeah, we went to Joe's. Yeah, we went to Joe's, got some pizza, and then just took off.
Right on. So, then we made it to Hartford.
Yeah.
And I was so psyched because I thought the gig was right next to the hotel.
It used to be.
And then at the last minute, I realized it was 4 miles away.
Yep.
And so we go to this, it seemed like an abandoned office building.
It's so hard to describe.
In the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. When I was trying to tell, they're like, how's that room? And I was like, I can't describe it because it's such a unique thing.
It's a standalone office building.
Yep.
Maybe what?
In the woods.
Maybe 15 stories high or something?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, like 10 to 15.
And there's the parking lot's just empty. And there's a restaurant, and then there's this side comedy show.
Yep.
Which is just...
so what they did...
we walk in, and I'm like, I was telling you the whole time, I'm like, it sucks when there's no green room.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of goofing on the Hartford green room. But I was like, it's a green room though, guys.
The Cambridge one, yeah.
And Boston. So, but there, I'm like, so is there a green room? And the guy just points to this. What are those things called? They're just a wall with people change behind?
Yeah, it's just, it's like a false wall. It's like a separator kind of thing. I don't even know what the right word is for it. And
we go back there, and there's already somebody back there. The guy that books it is going to do time, so he's on the show. So it's just, this wall is supposed to block like all 4 of us, and the audience knows exactly where we are. By the way, I don't know if I would get too into Hartford, but it was a lot of work. Can we say that?
Yeah, we can say that.
Especially the second night.
The first night was it was fun.
It was fun.
No, I had fun.
Yeah, and the second night was a battle.
Yeah.
And it was still a victory, but it was a battle. Some of the crowd was working against us.
Yes.
As much as they could.
I got a not funny on my intro. I will say that.
That woman did the same thing to me. She said, not funny. I just kept going. I was like, this is funny, though. People were laughing.
I literally
like,
walked
you.
in and grabbed the microphone. I said, hey, everybody, my name's Brennan. Not funny. And I was like, oh, we're gonna play this game today, huh?
It's so funny when you get away with, like, Boston is notoriously a hard place to exist in a way. Like, people are like kind of rude and like to.
You think you're better than me?
Yeah.
The trope.
But Cambridge was like kind of fun.
It was so fun.
Easygoing, let's say. And then the first night at Hartford is pretty much.
Yeah, they were listening. People were engaged.
And then the second night at Hartford, people were just like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yep.
You know, and that's why I had to do like the fast version of my set, like boom, 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 because the fuckers will just come after you if you give them a second.
Yeah, and that happened to me where the first joke, the 2 ladies in the front kind of looked at me like they hated me. And I was like, oh, this is bad. And then the second joke they laughed at, and I was like, oh, I got him. I got him on my side. Then the third joke, back to hate. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to stop.
Yeah, I said something to them. I'm like, I'm actually doing my jokes over you.
Yeah.
Like, you're not here.
And it was interesting, too, because I definitely want to talk about this. The first night in Cambridge and the first night in Hartford, I had my set list on stage with me. And I didn't even really have to reference it, to the point where in Cambridge, and that's how you know a set's going well, is when you don't have to look at notes, where you're just kind of feeling the room and doing your thing. And in Cambridge, there was like 2 newer jokes that I had that I wanted to get on tape, and that would have been the best place to do it because it was a very friendly room. Everyone was on my side, and I was like, shit, I was having such a good time, and everything was going so well. I just forgot to do those jokes.
Yeah.
So the first night in Hartford, I was like, oh, I'll do those. And they went well, but again, it wasn't like a massive, like, rah. They just went okay. And so, but I say all that to say the second night in Hartford, because I had to like rush the set, and in my head, I'm very much like, you're paying me not only to represent you as your feature, but I do take it seriously. Like, I have to do the time. There is oh, this isn't going real well, I'm going to jump out at 12 minutes. Like, that's not the job.
Yeah.
The job is to do the time.
Yeah.
And I remember I put my notepad in my back pocket, my set list, because I was like, oh, I'm crushing it. Like, I'm doing so well these last couple nights. I'll be fine.
Right.
I looked at my watch, which was a rookie move, but I was like, I got to see where I'm at.
That's not the worst thing to do, yeah.
And I was only 12 minutes into 25 minutes, and I was like, I'm at, like...
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was on stage being like, I don't know, I don't know, like trying to find my set list in my head.
Yeah.
So I had to pull the paper out, and there was beer all spilt on the stool. So when I threw it down, it like got soaked, and I was like, and then I'm just at one point looking at the pad, being like, oh, jury duty. Have you guys ever had jury duty? And I was like, God, this is so inauthentic. But I ran, and then when I saw you give me the light, I was like, I did the job.
Yeah, right.
I was still getting laughs. I did the job.
Yeah.
I got the light.
Yeah.
Like, we're all good.
Right.
But there was a moment of panic where I was like, oh, I feel like I'm a year in, and someone asked me to do 10 minutes, and I ran out of material at 4.
Right. No, that is, like, really what you got to learn to do the road is just, like, to do the time.
Yeah.
And that's the most stressful part of it.
I started throwing in stories that have nothing to do with the bits.
Yeah.
And I started almost rambling at one point. And
But
I was
that's
like,
good though. Like, that's what you got to do at a show
like I got to fill time.
Like, you got to you got to do like anything.
Yeah.
You know, just whatever. And
We got out though. We made it.
We got in the car. We got in the Prius.
Yeah.
Went back to New York City. And I'm having a hard time even remembering. Yeah, I got to my Upper East Side fantasy camp, dude. You know?
Living the dream.
Yeah. Got to bed. Just immediately went to Astoria to meet you and your girlfriend, me and my wife. And then...
it was kind of cool, though, that experience of, like, we pulled up right in front of the place on the Upper East Side.
Yeah.
The doorman comes out because he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Midnight. What's going on here?
I just start throwing information at him.
You're like, I'm going to meet a friend. And then all of a sudden he's on our side. He's like grabbing your bags and stuff.
I had a unit number ready.
Yeah.
Like, I'm no rookie, dude. Like, I know. I was like, we're staying in unit, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I know, blah, blah, blah. You know, and he's like, all right.
Oh, okay.
Let me get to work then.
Yeah, grabs the bags.
Yeah.
The crazy thing was we did all that driving and we were good. And then the second we hit the BQE, it was like...
Oh, you still had a hard time getting home?
Well, no, it was just like almost like cars like cutting people off. I was like, how have we driven almost 1,000 miles and everything's been pretty much good?
Yeah.
And then getting into the city at night, it's like, and you're like, what the hell, man?
Just dicks.
It's not that important.
Like, and just dangerous. So then I did Easter with friends, you know.
Yep.
We just lounge around. They got a baby. We're talking to the baby. It knows 4 words, so it's an easy conversation. And then I did the thing, like, people are like, well, you know, what are you doing? Are you just visiting for the week? And I have this pride where I have to say, I'm also working. Like, I just have to say that. It's the same thing where you can't let people think that you're like lazy or not working or whatever. And they're like, oh, where? And then it's just starting like, oh, well, we're going to come see you. And I'm like, and I'm bluffing. Like, yeah, you come on, see me.
hoping in your head that there is that percentage.
Well, it was. So the couple that we're staying with, they're like, oh, but we're doing this that night, so we can't go. And I'm like, that sucks. But then their friend is like, I'm going to be available that night. Oh, no. Can I come? And I'm like, you certainly can come. And then she's leaving, so I'm giving her a hug goodbye. And I go, she's like, so I'm going to come see you. I'm like, yeah, come to the show. I'll get you tickets. Ah! and then Kristen goes, she's coming to the show. She goes, I thought you didn't want people coming to that show. Like right in front of everybody. And I go, everyone's welcome. Like hugging the girl, the woman. And then Kristen goes out to dinner with her friends on Tuesday night and comes back and she goes, yeah, so everybody wants to go to the show.
Oh, no. Why are you promoting?
This is at the Gotham Lounge. It's like as big as this room.
Yeah.
The lights are on. It's going to suck. I didn't get that woman tickets. Like I kind of put the ball in her court. Like you're going to have to contact me.
Yeah.
And then like maybe it'll be too late to get tickets. And then hopefully Kristen's friends forget.
Yeah.
And I'm probably just going to have Kristen and her friend that we're staying with tonight come. But God, she sandbagged me.
Did they show up or did they forget?
It's tonight.
Oh, it is tonight.
So like I'm stressed out, man. Like I got to do this. It was going to be just this easy bullshit.
Yeah.
Probably not going to get that many laughs, but who cares show? Because I'm going up first. It's a 7:00 show. I'm on at 7.
Bullet at 7.
I'm on at 7:15. You go up, and the first spot on a New York show was actually the Take the Bullet spot.
Yeah.
Because the host is just going to do crowd work.
Yep.
And I'm just like, fuck, man. And then like waking up early and going to the airport to get to Charlotte. And it's just like I'm stressed, dude.
Yeah.
I'm stressed because it's so crazy, like the amount of maintenance you have to do while also being on tour. So Monday and Tuesday were just wall to wall, me on the computer. Everything takes longer than you think it's gonna take. I'm like deleting projects that aren't even finished yet off my computer
to make space.
Just to download this Boston video, which is so important to me. And so just I'm doing all this work, and then work is just like disappearing because it's not work I can really save yet. And then Wednesday is my anniversary. So like I got to get an anniversary present. I waited to the last minute with that.
Me too.
And you got to get everything just organized because Wednesday is no work Wednesday. You better fucking get it taken care of.
Yeah, my anniversary's next week, and then luckily Tracy was like, "Do you want to do gifts this year?" And I go, I don't think so." And she's like, "Good, I don't want to do gifts either." And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, because on Easter Sunday, my wife says to me, "I didn't even get you a gift." I said, "That's terrible, honey, because I didn't get you a gift either." Like I was going to put it on her, and then I was just like, "I didn't get you a gift either." And then on Monday, she's like, "Here's your gift." It's not even our anniversary yet. And I'm like, "Okay.
Cool.
I guess I better get some fucking gifts."
I will say.
Which I did. I got some good gifts. I did. I got her she loves games, so I got her a Blockbuster in the shape of a Blockbuster VHS video cassette.
That's cool.
Blockbuster movie trivia game.
Oh, she loves trivia. That's her thing.
I got her hikes all around the world with a large chapter on California. So like,
that's awesome.
I fucking did great. Got the card. Fucking nailed it. But like it was. So I had a show on Tuesday. And it's like the show's at 7:30. It's like 5 o'clock. I got to go get this gift. I got to shower. I got to get to the Lower East Side. There was like never a dull moment this week.
It is weird, especially because we're touring. I'm touring with you a lot more now. It's crazy because when I had my set schedule, like my routine, it was a routine. So it's like I'm busy, like I'm super busy on Mondays. But it's all stuff that it's like, okay, I wake up, I go to the gym, I do podcasting stuff, I have an AA meeting that I do, and then I go into work. But it's like it's a busy full day.
But you're at home.
Yeah, but
I'm at somebody else's place, and they got shit internet.
That's the thing.
And the Starbucks next door has shit internet, and I'm trying to get all this shit done. And you're trying, like, when you're trying to get storage space on your computer, you're like, there's like 80 tricks, but you can't remember them all.
Yep. What's worth it? What's not worth it?
Yeah.
And that's the thing I noticed about being on the road was to your point where it's like, oh, now I have to get all this stuff done before I leave because I don't take my computer with me on the road. So it's like I have to get all this stuff done before I leave. And now all of a sudden, like I was talking to Tracy on Thursday, and she's like, oh, do you want to? There's a new restaurant or like sandwich shop opening. She's like, do you want to go? And I literally, in a moment of weakness on my part, I look at her and I go, when? When do you want me to go? Please, you tell me. And she was like, whoa, whoa. And I was like, all right, that was a bad reaction.
It's so funny because these are our goals for ourselves. It's not necessarily your lady's goal.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't care if you're a fucking successful comic
And I
or
was
not.
like, I was like Thursday, all booked up.
Yeah.
Friday, all booked
Yeah.
up. Saturday, all booked up. And I was like, and then I get on a plane on Sunday.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, you tell me when you want to go.
Right.
And I'll fit.
Right.
But it is one of those things where it's like, I was actually stoked when you were like, all right, Charlotte to go. And I got the plane ticket because I was like, I love obviously hanging with you and driving with Lance. Like being in a car for that long wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would
Right.
be. Like we're talking.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're like not talking, which was great, and just like laying down,
Yeah.
like sleeping. And I was like, oh, I can be on a plane for an hour and a half and do all the stuff I have to do.
Totally.
Like get my set list together, do all the things that I think I'm going to have time for that I never end up having time for.
The airplane is the last sanctuary.
Yeah.
And they're bleeding into ending that with like internet connections.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you can't like talk on the phone.
Yeah.
On that
I'm just
airplane.
going to download a couple podcasts,
Yeah.
listen to some podcasts, write out the
Right.
set list. Because it's not a long flight.
And you can still go, the internet wasn't working on the flight.
Yeah.
And it's totally legitimate.
Everyone's like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we get it. So that was one
I
thing.
saw you were on Instagram.
Yeah. Sometimes, because I'm a big napper, so sometimes I'll do a post right before I like
Yeah.
clock out, and I'll have like 3 texts from people being like, "Yo, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I was taking a nap." And they're like, "You posted? What are you talking about? I saw you post." And I'm like, "All right, everyone, relax.
Okay, detective.
It's not that important.
Yeah. You can also time post, but
Yeah.
whatever.
You can schedule stuff."
Yeah. So, but Wednesday was awesome, dude. Went to the Mets game.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
Stayed at the William Vale in Williamsburg that's that huge hotel.
Oh, is
with
it?
the
Okay,
view
yeah.
and everything. And then went to Amber Steakhouse. Just a fantastic day, you
That's
know.
awesome.
And then Thursday headed upstate with the Metro North and the Grand Central and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then it was good. Hung with people, talked with people. Kristen's friends are also smart. It's like
Yeah.
so great to talk to people that are just like, that just like are fucking smart professional people. It's like a lot of comedians are smart, but they're also like
Comedians.
work for the carnival,
Yeah.
you know, like,
And then
they're all like everybody's always like, here's how you get famous. Here's how you get famous.
Yeah.
Here's how you get famous. Like,
What are you doing?
it's
How many times are
exhausting.
you posting? Or what are
Yeah.
you cutting clips with?
These people are like doing what they want to do.
Yeah. And then you actually get to talk about real stuff because that's one of my
Real
biggest
stuff,
things.
yeah. Which is also like, sometimes you say too much with like the state of the world and politics and stuff, and you go, "Oh my God, I'm staying at their house. What if?
Yeah.
What if I'm saying something they don't agree with?"
We had that happen. I won't say where, but we walked in and we had mentioned something we did, and then we were like, never mind, never mind, never mind.
Yeah,
But it was the thing, because this is something I heard on that show, Shrinking, by Han Solo, Harrison Ford, but it really
Yeah.
stuck with me was he was talking about like his son-in-law, and he goes, "Oh, he's a cardboard cutout," and I was like, "Oh, that's my problem sometimes hanging out with people where I'm like." You have nothing real to say.
Right.
So to your point, like whenever I've gone to a party at your guys' place and Kristen's friends are there, it's so refreshing to actually
It is,
talk
right?
to people where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we can have an intelligent, like no one's yelling, no one's arguing.
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, we can have an intelligent conversation
Right.
about this.
Yeah.
Unless you mention the Beatles to Daniel, and then
that
that's
was
just,
hilarious.
That's a mess.
To recap, Daniel told one of Kristen's friends that he liked Paul McCartney, and she fucking ripped him in the ass. It's so fucking funny. You figure he's a safe bet, Paul McCartney. You know what I mean? He's practically Shakespeare.
But yeah, so it is fun to actually hang out with people
Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
up there because we deal with it all the time. Sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of times with audiences where it's like, oh, this was a good crowd, it was fun, and then after they're like, oh, that bit about dicks and ass, and you're like, all right, man, yeah, I know, I wrote the bit, yeah, it's not my favorite, but okay, I'm glad you liked it,
I knew it was going to work tonight.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had somebody ask me last night at the restaurant. They were like, their card kept getting declined because, there's a lot of safety nets on cards
Sure,
and stuff.
yeah.
So we're having like a full conversation sitting at the computer because he's trying to do Apple Pay. And he's like, yeah, I'm not from here. I'm from New Orleans. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I know some people from New Orleans. And I was like, yeah, I'm also from the South. And then we got to start talking into comedy. And he goes, oh, like what's one of your good bits? And I was like, it's not really. He goes, oh, no, you don't have to, like, do the bit. But, like, what do you, like, what?
Right.
And it was just one of those things where I read him like a book. And I had to do a bit that it gets laughs, but it's not my favorite because there's no levels to it. It's just very straightforward.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I have this bit about this, X, Y, and Z. And he goes, oh, that's hilarious. And I go, yeah, I knew you thought that would be hilarious. Right. And it's like
he's also at your mercy because his card is just declining over and over again.
But it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, I know who you are, man.
Yeah, right. I got you. I picked that out for you.
Yeah. Went to my store in my head. I looked for it and I grabbed it and I said, "You're gonna like this one."
Yeah.
But sometimes it is cool because there's so little times where even like you said, sitting at the comics table and you're just like, if we have to talk about Instagram one more time, I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.
It's true. I've been on podcasts where they just talk about like podcasting and Instagram.
Yeah.
I also did a great show on Tuesday at Lucky Jack's. It's called Let's See What Else.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's one of those shows where you can just do whatever you want. Like I didn't tell an A joke for like 4 minutes. I was just like bullshitting. Like whatever B joke came to my head that I wasn't really sure about, I was just doing. And then like when you start to get into jokes work, it's like sick.
Yeah.
And then you can take your time and do try some new stuff.
Yeah, because they trust you. Yeah.
I was loving it, dude. It was so great. Made $20.
I love stuff like that where it was like they trust you.
Yeah.
Because it's hard in comedy, like we just talked about. And I know Denver, the Comedy Works, everyone talks about, like that audience knows comedy, loves comedy. And those kind of rooms are few and far between. But when you get them, you're like, oh, I could take my time. We can talk. I could throw stuff out there and see if it works. Because there's so often rooms where you're just like, this is work. And it's weird because you had said that to me once when you got off stage. You go, oh, that was work.
Yeah.
And I went to work after the tour. I literally got home, had Sunday off because we got in super early Sunday morning. So I had all of Sunday. I went into work Monday, and someone was like, "How was your vacation?" Because I wasn't there for the weekend. So everyone's like, "How was your vacation?" And I go, "Oh, it wasn't a vacation." And then I got into an actual argument with a coworker. Right. They go, "Yeah, but you like doing stand up." And I go, "No. You don't understand. Yeah. Like traveling, like the pressure of shows. Like, I was like, this isn't. I was like, imagine it's a bad table. Like, you know when you get one bad table and
for
you're like
3 days.
Well, and it's like imagine. Your whole shift is that one bad table.
Yeah.
Like that's how a set in an awkward room can go. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, it's still like something you want to do. Yeah. And I go, yeah, I love waiting tables too. Right. But we still get shitty custom. Like it still can be shitty sometimes. Yeah. Or it still can be work sometimes. Right. And it's like people don't get it. And you're like, okay, my vacation was great. Yeah. Cool. No,
you're there. Yeah. You're to the power of how answer.
Yeah. It was great.
Vacation was great.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. Saw a lot of cool sights. Had some great crowds. Yeah. It was great. Yeah. Sometimes I just want to die on these hills. I'm like, you don't understand, man. And it's like, yeah, actually, Brennan, you're right. They don't understand.
They don't.
So why are you trying to? It's like with AA with me when I'm like, yeah, I don't drink. And people are like, you can't just have one. It's like, nope. Right. Not even going to get into it. Nope.
I think if I'm going to AA, that pretty much says I've made that decision or figured that out.
Yeah. What do you mean? You can't just have like a beer? What's wrong with you?
That's so obnoxious.
Yeah, how often do you go to the gym, bro? Let's talk about willpower. How often? Yeah, I'm there 6 days a week. And no, I can't have one beer.
It's crazy because I do it too. I think like I always think people have the same exact life as me and think the same as me, even though I'm like pretty empathetic person. And then every once in a while I'm reminded like, no, people think and have different values than you, and it's just like you can't even comprehend it. You just have to accept it. Yeah, like where they're coming from.
Yeah, it's something that has taught me in my sobriety and also with comedy, where like there's so many times where I've worked in restaurants for over 20 years now, starting as a busboy all the way up to a server, and I've been a server like ever since. And I always think everyone's always worked in restaurants. Right. So I have so much restaurant material. Yeah. And some of it is relatable because I talk about like the famous people I wait on, which everyone's like, ooh, that's cool. But some of it is like actually working in restaurants. And sometimes I forget to ask the audience, has anybody here worked in restaurants before?
Right.
Because if I don't survey the room and I go straight into it, the silence is deafening. Because
Sure.
people are like, the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
And it's like, so to your point, it's like, oh yeah, not everyone's lived the life I've lived. And I've run into it with Tracy a lot because we have very different upbringings.
Right.
So sometimes I'll be like, yeah, just do this. And she's like, I can't just do that. And it's like, yeah, you can.
Right.
Yeah, you can.
You can do it though.
Yeah, watch.
Do it right now.
You can say no.
So the coffee's kicking in, and I'm starting to feel a lot more optimistic about the next 2 days.
Here we
But
go.
still,
Big show tonight.
I am waking up early, going to LaGuardia. It's crazy.
Yeah, what time? Oh, we talk about it off mic. I was going to say, what time are you flying out?
I'm flying out at 8:45
Woo, early flight, baby.
in the morning. I did because it's a 6 o'clock show, and I just didn't want to miss the flight.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a
Yeah.
great time.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, right there. There's a lot going on. Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody's hitting me up. Like everybody wants to be on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like all these comics want to be on the show.
We got it.
Well, I booked one guest spot just in case Lance is. This is something we haven't talked about. Lance drove all the way up to Boston and back.
Yep.
And then in the morning, on Sunday morning, started his way down to Key West, which
Yeah.
is about as far south as you can go in this country. Mm-hmm. And
They literally have a sign where it's like the furthest most.
yeah.
southern
So he goes to North Carolina the next day. He goes to what? Georgia the next day. and
Yeah,
then-
he went from, I think it was Virginia to Georgia to Boca Raton to the Keys.
And I think he's working tonight.
yeah.
And then he's working in the Key West on Saturday night. And then he's supposed to be at a show in Charlotte, North Carolina at 6 p.m. I don't know why he wants to do this, but he's doing this. That's why I got this guest spot, because I'm like, we might need an MC.
Yeah, because it was one of those things too, for those, because I grew up in Florida. For those of you listening, you can be in the Keys and still be an hour and 45 minutes from Key West.
Yeah.
Like Key West is the furthest point south, and the Keys are a long chain of islands.
Oh, yeah.
So like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do the show and then hit the road. I'll go to Boca, sleep there, and then, which is 5 hours away, and then I'm gonna wake up in the morning and meet you guys in Charlotte.
I don't know. Like I
I was like, you're a
I
crazy
actually
person.
have faith that he's going to be there, like completely. Like I know he's going to be there, but I still need. It don't hurt to hire an extra comic.
Yeah, just in case.
For that doesn't want to get paid.
Yeah.
that doesn't need to get paid. This kid hit me up on Instagram, like I don't want to say relentlessly, but like 1, 2, or 3 times, to the point where like, yeah, I'm going to put this kid on, and then I was like, I don't know this kid. Like I can't just put him on my show. But I told him, like, come by and watch the show, and like, if there's an off chance that like I need you, I'll put you in.
Yeah.
But probably not.
It is weird too, we were talking earlier about the friends and family coming to shows, because I say this all the time. I don't like doing bringers because I don't like people telling me how many people I need to bring.
Yeah.
This is what I do. This is what I love to do. So if you put me on a show, I'll promote the show. I'll tell all my friends about it.
Yeah.
I'll try to get people to come out.
Yeah.
Because this is my responsibility. Like I don't know if producers understand this. It's like I want people in the audience. The jokes don't work if there's nobody in the audience.
Yeah.
But I do forget, like, people move.
Yeah.
So, like, I was posting about the Charlotte show, and then
Yeah.
I had people reaching out to me like, I live in North Carolina. And I was like, oh, I haven't talked to you in like 6 years.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, come to the show.
yeah.
But it is a weird thing where it's like, before you get like fans, you just have friends that come.
Yeah.
So it is that weird thing where it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess more people I know are going to be there than I thought. Cool. Awesome. Let's do it.
At this point, though,
Rack up the
it's
pressure.
like you
again.
just got to do it. You just
Yeah.
got to do it anyway. You already had the hardest night of your year
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah. Now everything's
So
gravy.
you get 8 months to just fucking, and Thanksgiving's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The holidays
saw
are going to be
Brennan,
awesome.
he was so good.
And by the way, no one's coming
No, that's it.
to another show.
Which is, yeah. Once
No
we
one's
see it
coming.
once, I don't even have to ask.
Yeah.
Oh, you have another show in Boston? Oh, that's
Right.
cool. That's good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. It's not on
Yeah.
my website either.
Yeah. You don't follow me on Instagram. I blocked you.
We already did this.
Well, and also the bar is set high enough now to where it's like, if they do come out to another show and it's not awesome,
Yeah.
they can still be like, oh, that was the crowd. Because now they're on my side.
Totally.
So now it's...
You're still good,
Yeah.
but it's like, let's just keep it at that.
That's,
You know?
You saw it?
Yeah.
We're good.
Luckily, Boston doesn't use a lot of outside comics,
Yeah,
so you're
they've got
kind of
their
good
own-
for a while.
Yeah, they've got their own whole crop.
Shouts out to Jeff Zamaria at
the Comedy Studio.
runs a great club, don't you think?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Especially compared to some of the other shows that we've even done in the past where it was just like, there's... Because everyone we told about it thought it was still under the old management.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, you guys are fucked,"
Yeah.
basically.
And then we went there and I was like, "Oh no, this is like we said, we were kind of joking about the green room, but it was an actual room with a couch and a fridge and like a place to hang."
San Francisco vibes,
Yeah,
right
it
here
was
on the
really
East
cool.
Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was I had a ton of fun there. And the space, you can tell that Jeff knows what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he puts like the reservation sign on all the outside seats, depending on how many tickets were sold, because there's still walk-ins and stuff like that. So it's like, no, we're going to filter everyone to the center of the stage.
Yeah.
Whereas, we've done shows before where it's like 2 people over here, 3 people over there, because people are like picking their seats.
Yeah.
And even me, like, I don't do a ton of the road, but even I know it's like, no, you filter. Like, even when there's certain shows where people will be like, oh, if you want to do seating and like be the door guy, we'll put you up for 10 minutes. And I'm
Right.
like, all right, cool. I know enough to be like, no, people go here.
Yeah.
And when they go, oh, can we sit over there? It's like, no, sorry, we're seating this.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just people want, if you tell them, no, actually, we're going to seat you here, they're like, oh, okay, cool.
They do it.
Very
They sit
rarely
there,
do people
yeah.
are like, no, we want to sit
Right.
over there.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, be the weirdos,
Yeah.
like way off to the side.
I told you the classic Caroline's,
Yeah.
where I told my then girlfriend, my now wife, she's bringing her aunt and uncle. And I'm like, just don't sit in the front. And the show starts. I'm like, where are they? And I'm like, don't look. It's like Joe Pesci. Nah,
Yeah.
don't look. I'm like, there they are.
Right there in the front.
And I just didn't look at them the whole time.
That was the other cool thing about the Comedy Studio, the lighting.
Dude, that's what you want.
It's so much
the
more
stage was so
important.
high.
Yeah.
And the lights were good. And it's like, I don't understand why not every club can figure this out.
Or no, it's just venues.
Just figure it out. It's easy.
Especially people who do comedy that run venues. It's like, you do this. Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here?
Right. And we'll just leave it at that.
Absolutely.
Not to single anybody out.
Nope, just in general.
Even though I'm never going back to Hartford. Not the city of Hartford.
I texted a friend.
This particular place. God, thank you for having us.
Yes.
It was a pleasure doing business.
I texted a buddy after who's played Hartford a couple times, and he's openly talked about some of his good experiences and bad
Yeah.
experiences. And I was like, yeah, I did Hartford this past weekend. And he goes, 50-50 shot, which one'd you get? And I
Yeah.
said, both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 50-50.
It's not set up for you to succeed.
Yeah. But it was, great time. Charlotte will be there. It's going to be fun. Bro,
Yeah.
Jason Tour continues.
Yeah.
And then we got Florida in May.
Yeah, that's coming up too. See,
Big
I
one.
got to go back to Los Angeles, and I've got like 2 days off. And then I'm picking up a van and driving to Northern California to
Oh,
go
really?
camping with Kristen's friends.
You said picking up a van. I was like, what do you mean? Where are you going? Like up north?
We're going
north?
up to like a park, like in
Okay.
Northern California. And the upside to that is we will be in one place the entire time.
Are you a camping guy?
No,
I didn't think so.
No way, dude.
I hate camping.
I went camping in like 1979. I camped on the way out to LA when I was a kid in 1997. And that might be the last time I camped, like in a tent.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have, but I can't remember when the last time.
I'm all for being outdoors. I'm an outdoorsy kind of person.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the sleeping arrangements in the bathroom, I'm like, can we just like hang out in the woods and like do all the fun stuff and then go back to a hotel?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Like, I'm not a big like sleep outside
These
guy.
are all her college friends that went to school in Colorado. So they're like
Oh,
mad.
they love
They're
it.
mad crunchy.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, no, so there I
Get some
am.
bits out of it or
I'm like
something.
fucking like 10 years older than everybody else. I don't get any of the inside jokes.
My back hurts.
You know what I mean? Like they all got their college jokes. I'm like,
I smell like fire. I smell like a fireplace. I don't like this.
it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's just I'm tired, bro. See, that's the Charlotte aspect of this trip kind of extended it just a little too long.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so, like, if I went home on Thursday, which for the listeners, today is Saturday. If I just went home on Thursday or maybe even today, I'd be good. But it's like the extra days with the shows are like brutal.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing because I was trying to map out the rest of it. Because I have like podcasts for my show booked like through like May. But I had that one weird lull and I was like, okay, well, we get back on this day. And Sunday, I'm normally off from the restaurant. So I was like, well, I'll have all day Sunday. But obviously, we're doing Charlotte. So now it's like, and then I work, you know, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
So it was one of those weird things where I was like, oh, this is going to be tight.
Dude, yeah. And I used to live my entire life like this.
Yeah.
So, like, no wonder I was out of my mind.
Yeah.
Because you don't get any rest.
I like the fact that we have, like, space between, like, the other shows. It's like, okay, then we'll do Charlotte. But even if you took Charlotte out of it, it's like, okay, we're doing shows like kind of at the end of April, the end of May. We're doing like a run of shows. And then, so that aspect of it, I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Let me tell you, it's better than it could be, too, because we didn't do any double show nights.
Yeah.
And that shit gets brutal.
That's what I was thinking about.
You ride the roller coaster twice.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. Because I was like, oh, if we had like 2 shows in Cambridge or 2 shows in Hartford, like in the same night.
And just to the audience, it's not the act of getting up there and talking. It's the adrenaline.
Yeah.
And the anticipation that goes with it.
Somebody actually just sent me a reel of Miley Cyrus talking about this.
Yeah.
And it was completely unrelated. Like, they just randomly sent it to me, but she was saying the same thing. She's like, yeah, everyone thinks the show is just 90 minutes, but you don't understand, like, and obviously she's doing, like, arenas and stuff.
She's dancing and shit,
but,
too.
Yeah, but still, there is that same kind of, like, it doesn't matter if I'm doing a show for 7 people in the Lower East Side, or if I'm doing a show for 100 people in Boston, like, it's still that same like nervousness. It's still that same energy. It's still that same.
You know what I'm doing after this? I'm going like to a park and we're gonna go over my jokes.
Yeah,
like a crazy person because I don't trust myself to remember my jokes because I'm going up in front of like Kristen and all her smart friends. You know, it's brutal.
Gonna bring the noise.
Fucking brutal.
Oh man, I do not envy you.
But you got to do something for a living, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going into the restaurant tonight, which is so good because I've been there for so many years and it's so nice. Yeah. It's so second nature where it's just like when I got back from the tour, I went into work Monday and it was first table. I was just like, yeah. And I was like, oh, this is.
Who needs anything else?
Yeah. This is so much easier than.
Is this your card?
Do you like me? Do you like me?
Yeah,
do you like me? Please like me. Please like me.
Yeah.
Whereas I could just be like, oh, you guys came here for a reason. What do you want? Yeah. Gotcha.
It's funny you say, do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? Because the other note an audience can give you is, you acted like you didn't care if we liked you or not.
Yeah. It's like, that's all I care about. It's a facade. I'm a liar. This whole, like, I'm cooler than all of you guys is fake. I'm doing it because people respond to it.
I'm doing it because I said I was going to do it. No, at this point, I have, like, so many jokes. Like, it is exciting to, I've actually put so much work into it. I forget. Like, I get off stage and Lance has like got something going on where he tells me how much time I did every time, and I'm like, nice.
Yeah.
You know?
Lance.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Hey, man, you did
only 52 minutes and 35 seconds.
And it's the one last thing I want to talk about with Lance, because I forgot about this, but he does that, like the bit he did with the doorman, that's just, as you mentioned, it's just Lance being Lance.
Yeah.
Because we were in the hotel going to pick you up, and we were like trying to determine the time, and we're checked out of the hotel, sitting in the lobby, and Lance just freewheeling is like, yeah, we'll meet you in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, well, we could have said an hour.
Right.
But he was like, yeah, it's fine. And I was like, okay, no biggie. We'll sit here.
Sure.
I can play on my phone. I can get distracted for 2 hours, hour and a half. And there's this woman who's there for the crochet conference. And he just, what are you knitting over there? Stop. Please stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. We had a podcast with this woman. Hour and 10 minutes just talking.
What are you knitting over there? And he did the same thing with the server at the club.
Yeah.
He's like, how you doing? And she goes, you want the real answer or the fake answer? And I'm like, I'm almost about to say fake answer. He's like, real answer.
The truth. Tell me the truth.
She's just like, well, my house burned down. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
And she spewed so much things going against her that she started to walk away after she said it. I'm like, actually, you know what?
We actually
I feel bad ordering this from you now. But can you hook me up?
Yeah, gosh. It is interesting because you do get to meet a lot. Like the woman that we ended up talking to was really cool, and her son lives in New York and is like an executive chef.
No, it's not like a bad thing. It just goes against my instincts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because I'm very much, when I first moved to New York, I was like, I'm going to change the entire culture of New York. I'm going to bring my Southern hospitality and say hi to people.
Right.
That was beaten out of me in like a month.
Yeah. Well, you know who's pulling it off is my wife.
Oh, yeah?
She's like, you can't defeat her.
Yeah.
She's this like, she brings the Southern hospitality. She knows no other way.
Yeah, that's true.
She knows no other way.
The third time I said hello to someone and they just kind of looked at me weird, I was like, yeah, I'm going to stop doing that.
That's it. That's one less thing you got to do today.
I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold the door for someone who's like 20 paces away because it's like, I've got somewhere to be too.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't expect me to do that.
Yeah.
Unless it's like an old woman or an elderly person or someone who's like pregnant or something.
Right.
You could get the door.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, dude.
The city beat me, man. They beat me.
We did have, I just want to tell the audience one last thing. I had the biggest average hotel room.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
It was like a loft.
Yeah, it was huge.
It was the chairs were ripped up.
Stains everywhere.
There were stains everywhere, but it was huge.
There was dust coming out of the vents on the ceiling.
I had a kitchen.
I remember why, because the first thing I thought of was like if I was a kid and we were going on like a vacation to Orlando and we walked in and the hotel room was this big, I would have shit my pants.
Woo!
Yeah,
Just running all over the place, jumping on a bed.
it was gigantic.
Yeah. So, but when you're an adult, you go and you go, all right, big,
Dirty.
kind of dirty. So work. What time's the show?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It did have those like sneak out old, and it was funny because when we were walking through it, I was like, "Man, in the '80s, this was probably the place." You go, "80s? In the '50s, this was probably the place." Yeah. And then when you actually look at the building, you go, "Yeah, this is actually a pretty old building." You're probably right. It was probably built in the '50s or '60s.
This shit was banging.
Yeah.
Every downtown was banging.
Had the ledges that like went out, like the old Steve Martin style ledges where you could sneak out onto the ledge.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool building. And since no bugs or anything walked out of there with me, I give it an A.
Lance was like blown away.
Oh, he never seen anything so great.
He's like, "This is awesome, man."
Yeah, listen to Lance's podcast. It will be coming out late.
Yeah.
He banks a shit ton of them, but we broadcasted from the or taped, I should say, from the hotel room, and it was pretty fun. So you get another podcast out of this trip.
It was a good time, man.
Mm-hmm. I think that's going to do it.
All right.
For the Full Charge Power Hour, your ex-drinking buddy, Power of Hal, triple down, throw down.
Swap gas.
And we're out of here.
Boom.